today's reading is going to be on money and money blocks, because I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, is reaching our fullest potential when it comes to business and when it comes to income as well. Like, some of us may be working really hard, so we're putting all of the energy and effort into what we're doing, and yet we don't seem to be reaping the rewards of that in a financial sense. So maybe we're doing a lot of work and we're helping a lot of other people in whatever field we are in, but yet we aren't being paid what we're really worth. So if we're working for someone else, maybe they keep promising us a pay rise, but instead they keep fobbing us off with a promotion, which isn't really a promotion, it's just a different title and more work, but without like a proper title and without a proper salary. And so that's like, a kind of like an area where you might be putting in so much effort and time and energy and almost burning yourself out, but yet not actually being rewarded for it in a fair way. And then, if you're working for yourself, perhaps in order to actually get clients and make connections and things, you are undercharging as a way of bringing people in, and then those people are then never turning around and paying what you're truly worth, after they've realised you're worth more. And so you get stuck within continuing to only charge, say, for example, I don't know, half of what you would like, or 3/4 of what you would like, or maybe even 10% of what you would like, because it's hard to then break out of that trap and raise your prices without alienating and offending people. But yet if you go in immediately at the rate you want, then people aren't going to give you a chance because you're new. So something there is blocking you from seeing your true value and your true worth, and attracting people who will see that in you and who will value you at that price. And so it's all about like attraction, and the energy that we're putting out is the energy that's coming to us is reflective of the energy that we're putting out. So it's like something in us that is blocked, that is stopping us, because there are people with less skills than you who are doing better than you, who are making more money than you. And so it's not necessarily about skill or experience, it's about self-belief to a large extent. And then it's about how the universe sees you and how the universe reflects that back. And it can be a complicated journey and a difficult path to tread and to figure out and make work. And so this reading can bring some light to what is blocking you right now, and hopefully get you back on track, or at least a little bit further ahead, so that you can then return and maybe check out a different reading and get a little bit further on the journey. Because I think that tarot doesn't in one reading necessarily give you all of the answers, but it definitely gives you a piece in the puzzle that you can then look at, address and place onto the picture. And slowly but surely, as you pick up the separate pieces and you deal with them and you heal them and resolve them, or whatever the kind of like the block or the issue is, you resolve it, you bring a conclusion to that situation in a happy, healed way, and then you can place it in the puzzle, and slowly but surely you complete the puzzle over time. So this will be one piece in your puzzle. That said, I will do the reading. So the question that we're focusing on, just to remind you, is what is the source of my money blocks? And I'm going to pull 2 cards. I'm going to pull 1 tarot card, and I'm going to pull 1 angel card, oracle card, just because I think that gives us a different perspective, and it's quite nice to have those 2 energies coming in together in the reading. So I'm just shuffling the cards now. Okay. So we have 2 cards here, and depending how we get on, I might actually pull another tarot card if we need more clarity. But I'll see what comes up as I read the cards. The card that I have is the 5 of Wands, and this feels like quite an apt card for this reading, actually. In the card we see there are like five men, and they're holding their wands. Their wand is like their stick of creation, yeah. So it's like this is how you create fire in your life creatively, and it's how you build things as well, like foundations for your house, for your business, for your life. And they've got these 5 wands, these men, but they don't appear to be working together. They appear to be working against each other, yeah. So it's like I'm looking at it, and it's like I get a sense that they're trying to build something. So maybe they're trying to build a house or a tent or a wigwam or a yurt or something, and yet they don't seem to be getting anywhere. It's like they're either in conflict with one another, or they're distracted and they're talking to one another, or they're messing around and playing games with one another, but they don't seem to be intent on the job at hand. And it looks a little bit chaotic, and a little bit like they're all trying to do a different thing, like they're not united in their task. Each one of them has a different idea in their head as to what the goal is. And they're standing on uneven ground. So it's green ground and it's fertile ground. There's a little bit of like some dry aridness there as well. But for the most part, it's green fertile ground. So that's like saying that basically, like, you've done a lot of work and you've done a lot of research and you've put a lot of hard work and effort into your career and to making money and to like creating firm foundations upon which to build your business. But the ground is uneven still, and there are still some dry areas on it. So there's room for a little bit more information, a little bit more knowledge, and also like the ground needs evening out because it's bumpy, and it's difficult to build a house on uneven ground. So maybe it's a case of like there are too many things that you are trying to do right now, too many separate activities, too many separate tools or skills that you have, and you're trying to put them all into the same box under the same umbrella, and it's a bit chaotic. It's like all of these men here fighting to build this business, but they've all got a different aim. And what you need to do is unify it so that it's either the 5 men all standing together with a common purpose, or you need to like weed out 4 of them so there's only one, and that is the focus, the intention that you have. And in doing so, I think the ground beneath will become smoother and more stable, because there won't be so many people running over it all the time in different directions, churning it up. But in the card, it's like it's a really nice sunny day. The weather is warm. As I said, the landscape is lush and green. So there's nothing bad here per se. It's not like there's some dark thing hiding in your past that you have to deal with. There's no like visible trauma here or wound here or anything. It's more the fact that you have too many things going for you. You are good at too many things. You have too many ideas, too much passion and inspiration and desire. It's almost like you're a child walking into a sweet shop and it's like, oh, I'd love to do that. Oh, I'd love to do that. Oh, I'd love to do that. And you have too much passion and enthusiasm and energy, yeah? And it's not focused on one thing, because as a creative person, you love everything creative, or you love so many things creative. Or if you're spiritual, it's like everything to do with spirituality, appeals to you. So for example, you could really, really want to do Reiki energy healing, and you could want to study other forms of energy healing, and maybe you want to do sound healing too, and maybe you want to do kinesthesiology, and maybe you want to do craniology, and maybe you want to do crystal therapy and flower therapy, and all sorts, like everything out there appeals to you. So maybe you want to like do Kundalini yoga as well, and all the other forms of yoga, and Yin yoga, and Hatha yoga, and Vinyasa yoga, and like you want to do everything, which is great, and which you can do. But it's like trying to do it all at once is the complication, because it means that you never get to do anything with your full attention and focus, and nothing ever gets finished or done like properly. So it's like, it's about the follow through. It's like, in order to be really, really good at something, you kind of need to devote yourself to it and only it, and study only that. So if you want to be really good at, for example, Kundalini yoga, you need to focus in only on Kundalini yoga and not on all the other types, and you need to become a master at that, professional at that, a leader in your field at that. And then you can bring the other things in. So maybe you do the other forms of yoga casually, just for yourself, personally, but you don't bring them into your business and into your life on a like a professional level until you've got somewhere with a Kundalini, and then you can study the other forms more professionally, and then slowly add them into your client base who are already doing Kundalini with you, and then you can invite them to do this other form as well. And then maybe it's about basically bringing them all in together, but calling them something completely new and making it yours, making it unique, birthing a new thing. And that is the way, really, for someone who is interested in multiple things and who has multiple skills. That's the way to create a niche for yourself and to find an audience, is not by calling it all of the separate things, because then it becomes far too confusing and nobody quite knows who you're an expert, what you're an expert at, and then they begin to think, well, maybe you're not actually an expert at any of those things because there are too many things. And so it's about finding your audience and like niching it down, and then building from there. And so maybe the key here is to take those 5 separate elements who are all like warring against each other and vying for attention and airtime, and they all want to be in the center of the stage. Yeah, maybe it's about, okay, like finding out what could you do to as an umbrella, create as an umbrella over the head, so that all of these can be unified underneath it. Yeah, so if all of these are like if these are 5, going with the metaphor and example, if these are 5 different types of yoga that you are interested in teaching, and you have been studying all of them, well, what could you rename that offering as? So, maybe you could call it like chakra yoga, or quantum yoga, or I don't know, anything. It's kind of like, it's up to you to name your thing yourself. But if you make it new, if you birth something new out of you, that could be a way of finding a bigger audience, and more like attracting your true audience, as opposed to the audience right now who, like, the audience that you're attracting right now is not your true audience, because you're attracting people from here, there and everywhere, and it's like some people are interested in that part of you, and some people are interested in that part of you, and some people are interested in that part of you, but like you are a person of parts. So like, if we're going with what's happening in this card, you are a person of 5 parts, of 5 specialities, yeah, which means that like every time you bring in a person who's only interested in one of your specialities, well, then you have 20% of yourself to give to them, but maybe they also are only 20% interested in you, yeah, because like your attraction to each other is not 100%, you're only 20% attracted to each other, and you need to be 100% attracted to each other. And so by creating something unique and new, you will be attracting a different audience, and one that is more likely to be better matched to you and who you are, and then you'll be better equipped to actually help them. Because I think it's important to acknowledge that when we have clients and when we attract people to us, a lot of the time we're attracting people who are a mirror to us, because those are the people who we are best equipped to help. So like, you know, if with me and what I do with my tarot reading and the kind of like the therapy, the counseling, the guidance that I offer, I will attract, a lot of the time I will attract people to work with me who are encountering similar life path issues and complications to me, but they're things that I have worked through and I am further ahead on my path with. Therefore, I can offer guidance and counsel to these people because I have a direct connection with them and with their experience. But I will not attract people who have different life wounds and issues to me that often, or people who are further along on their healing path than I myself am. Although that does happen occasionally, and when it does, interesting things come up, and beautiful work can be done. And sometimes, you know, when it's someone who has moved further along their journey of healing than you comes to you, sometimes that for them working with you reminds them of something in themselves that was less grown up, less adult, less matured, less healed, less whole, and then they get enlightenment and healing from that reflection. So it can work in multiple ways, but the more that you can define who you are and what it is you do, the more you will attract the right people to you, and be able to be of the most service to others in this lifetime, which is what we're ultimately all trying to do. The oracle card that I pulled up, which was from the deck, is called Messages from Your Angels, and it's a beautiful deck, but like most oracle card decks are really beautiful in my mind, or like all the decks I have I consider really beautiful, which is why I reached out to them and invited them into my life. I wouldn't have offered to mother, you know, a deck that I wasn't really drawn towards or attracted to. And okay, every so often, you know, we connect with the deck and we're like, I don't know if I really resonate. And then when that happens, I try to pass it on to someone who will give it a better home than me. Because, you know, it's hard to know if you're intimately connected to a deck without working with it first, and so you have to, you know, buy and then start working, and so it doesn't always work out, but for the most part it does. And this deck, I really like the imagery and the messages. This picture especially has a really, really beautiful image. The angel is Merlina. So it's like a feminine incarnation of Merlin, the wizard. You know, she looks like kind of like a priestess angel. She has, like, there's loads of geometric shapes in the picture, you know, the sacred geometry, and she is working with her third eye, and she's massively connected to the universe, in, you know, the kind of like the quantum field and the matrix and everything. And yet, you know, there were dolphins by her as well, and there were also butterflies, and there's a rabbit, and there's like nature. And so she's connected to all of the elements, and she's connected to the earth and the planet. And you know, her picture is on top of a kind of like a circle that looks a bit like the globe. So she's connected to all of that, and yet from her trunk, from her body, she is directly connected to the divine as well. And we can see on her body, you can see the chakras outlined as well. So it's like she's coming from a place of like pure energy and balanced energy. Everything is in harmony, and she's connected to everything, to the bigger picture, to the world and the universe as a whole. And she's so much bigger than just the earth. And she's very powerful. And the message on the card says, you are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. So we see this this priestess, who is connected to divine wisdom, to, all that is out there, to all matter, to all information, to all energy. She's connected to everything, and she is coming to us here in this reading, and she is giving us this message, and she is saying that basically your confusion lies in the fact that you are looking for information as an earthling, as an earthbound individual. You are not reaching outside of yourself, or reaching far enough outside of yourself for the answers that you seek. So connect more with the divinity of your being, connect more with your inner priestess, your inner Melina, and or even, invite her to work with you, reach out to her, ask her to help you, and maybe ask her to help you to access the Akashic records, so that you can, to get information that you need, or tap into the quantum field, so that you can, get messages from like your past selves and your past lives. That information would be really useful to help you on a career journey. You can tap into the life of a past you that was more successful, that didn't have these blocks. You can also speak to past yous that had the same blocks, and discover their advice and wisdom, and maybe see the patterns that are repeating in yourself now. So it's like, look for more information, and that will be able to help you to clarify what you need to do, and to work out what it is that you need to kind of like create as a package about who you are. And look outside of yourself, like ask for help. And that's a big message here, is like, look outside of yourself and ask for help. But the help does not necessarily have to come from a physical being. It can come from further out, further up, and those are the two messages here. And I think that gives us a lot to work with, a lot to start with. And the other thing about this card, the Melina card, is, and also like both cards actually, there is a lot of blue and a lot of green in both of these cards. So it has to do with the heart chakra, and opening up your heart, being vulnerable, really like, laying yourself bare, laying your emotions, your desires bare, and being true to yourself, with yourself. Like, you don't necessarily have to discuss it with anybody else, but be true to yourself. What do you really want in your heart? What is it you would like to achieve? What is it that you would like to change out there in the world? If you're an agent of change, what is it that you are trying to bring to the world in that respect? And then the blue is about the throat chakra and your voice, and finding your voice and speaking your truth, and being true to that. And also the blue as well, that we can see in the Melina card, it's a very emotional blue. So it's also about like the emotions that are running through your body, in terms of how you feel in your heart, what your desires are, and also like around your truth and what it is that you need to say and set free. So perhaps some deep, like some intense chakra balancing would be useful, or some energy healing to help you to rebalance those energies, and to release any anything that is stuck or trapped inside that needs to be set free. So any past traumas, and any kind of like worries or fears or whatever, and trapped behaviors and things. So just think about that as well. I hope that's given you a lot to think about. Definitely somewhere to start, with quite a few action steps. So I think if you work on the things that have come up in this reading, I think it will shift you from a place of stuckness, and it will get you over a hurdle, whether that is the only hurdle you have to move up past, or whether there will be another one after that will be unique to you. Everybody is different in that situation, but I think that if you really do the work here, and you really apply yourself to what these two cards say, that you will shift enough to change your current situation, your current reality, your current ability to, you know, create more money in your life. And I think that will then kickstart you enough to then continue to problem solve the rest of it on your own quite easily, without the need for extra intense help. So like you may just get enough from doing that work, but at the same time, if you wanted company upon that journey, and if you wanted someone to help you and hold you accountable, then that would probably help you move through it more smoothly and get to where you want to go more quickly. Because I believe that we are all capable of resolving all of our own problems and blocks and difficulties on our own, given the time and if we are in possession of the desire and the will. But that journey can be so much easier and so much less lonely and scary and painful if we do it in the company of a mentor or a friend. And that's definitely, from my experience, how I find things, is that, you know, sometimes we can just, like, you know, chisel away at what feels like a brick wall, and we're not getting anywhere because we're only like chipping away, you know, a few little bits of brick dust at a time, and it's a very slow, very exhausting, very painful process. And yet if we go to somebody else who can see right into us immediately in a way that it is almost impossible to do for yourself, no matter who you are, it's really hard for us to see stuff in ourselves and to heal stuff in ourselves, because we're too connected, whereas it's a lot easier to see it in other people and to heal it in other people. And it's a lot easier to give permission to someone outside of you to help you as well than it is to permit yourself to help yourself, or to even believe that you have the power or the capability to help yourself. So finding a mentor or a friend, or, you know, an ally to hold you accountable and to help you and guide you could be really useful to you in this instance. So yeah, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. And also, if you would like to, you know, to listen to watch more videos and experience more readings, then please do subscribe to my channel. If you want to find out more about me, my website is lemonrosepetals.com, and from there you can kind of like figure out all of the other places where I'm at. There are links from that website to pretty much everything else. And if you would like, you know, to have a private reading with me, please do get in contact with me. I would be happy to help, more than happy to help. And if you would just, you know, if that's not your thing right now, or you can't afford to, you can always send me a message and ask me a question that you would like, and I can do a video on that question. And as long as you don't mind that it's a public video and that other people will be able to watch it, experience it, and be helped by it, then I'm more than happy to do that, to consider your question. I can't promise all questions will be answered. It depends on whether I feel it fits with the path that we are trying to tread here, the journey that we are taking together. But if I can help, I will help, and I will do so gladly. So yeah, I will see you here again soon, I hope, and thank you for watching.